Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual, you. Today, I would like to speak about daily, enthusiastic, and wondrous exploration of one's own inner being. Our interests, inclinations, maybe observing oneself over time to get to know oneself, and so on. For we do have, of course, a certain responsibility in how we act and how we portray ourselves and present ourselves. And it's also about the authenticity of presenting oneself. So one doesn't stretch beyond what one is capable of, but also one do stretch as far as one can go based on one's own capabilities, as to just as you would when you train and exercise physically. When you get stronger over time, you start to lift heavier, and that is the same with spiritual work. The more you do inner spiritual contemplations and inner mobility, reflection, utilizing one's imagination, bringing the inner world alive again and online again, in tune with the outer world at the same time, as to not separate these too much, because they are not truly separate. They are very much intertwined and intermingled with each other. But it's about finding out how to find the entrance to the living spiritual forces underlying the physical sense perceptible. And that is where the whole joy comes in, for once you have come to understand certain things, it will just snowball effect. It's kind of, you reach the threshold and then the floodgates open type of situation. And once you have reached that, you kind of are, you are set, because you have been given enough experiences, knowledge, and insights in life that you can actually come to have a certain confidence and inner comprehensiveness of why you are doing certain things. It's important to have these types of thoughts in mind when we do this work, as to just not willy-nilly begin this work without having worked upon our intentions with it. Intentions are everything, for you are putting yourself a responsibility when you do this work. It's for the healing of the world and yourself. So to utilize it as any kind of weapons or any kind of trying to manipulate others and such is a no-go, unless you want to feel some karma for it, because the karma will be much heavier when you actually do practice spiritual work and then and its purpose in all of this, because imagine if you would have been a person with insane amounts of something that would be either healing or detrimental to the world. To then use it for bullying and such is kind of... Do you wish to become that? Do anyone wish to truly become that? It is never a long-lasting one. It is always a temporary one, and you will see what inclinations the higher worlds actually do have, moral-wise. The thing is, to truly cultivate love, compassion, morality, we need freedom. We need to have an inner capacity for moral freedom and imaginary freedom. When I say imaginary freedom, I mean freedom within our imagination. We do have these two areas where we can actually utilize freedom. We, with us in our thought world and within our heart space, are very much in freedom on what we do follow and what we hold ourselves to value-wise. And that is what... There is a reason why Steiner said, for every step of spiritual development, 3 steps of character, moral character development. For we cannot lag behind in morality when we are doing this work. It's so important to hold strong to the love for your neighbor, the love for the world, the love for any living thing truly, and starting to make it more sacred. It is not easy to put words into these things always, but there is, once you have come to the understanding that goodness, warmth, kindness actually feels very pleasant, it's very satisfactory in on its own, that is what you will come to prefer over time. Of course, I cannot choose for you or choose for him or her, but you will probably come to see it. For once you have awakened the sensations that when you do someone harm, you feel pain, and when you do someone something good, you feel pleasure and joy. You are online spiritually again. You are connected to the higher moral world, to the Devakan and so on. So you are feeling pleasure when you see something morally good, you're feeling pain when you see something morally degenerative. And that is a healthy way of having a sensation within your soul, because it is very honest. If we are numb to these sensations, if we are numb to being mean or being kind and such, it's called indifference. It's called having not taken a stance. By no means is there anything bad in it as of today, because we haven't truly come into that this truly is a possibility yet. But it truly is, and to begin with, it's not too many that dabble in this. A whole lot of people dabble, quote unquote, in it, yeah. But to truly live it is not something everyone does at this moment. But just like mathematics, just like the alphabet, the written language, all that we have cultivated before is today standard common knowledge among humanity. And that is the same with spiritual work. We can be nihilistic about it, we can say all is random. In the end, it doesn't lead you anywhere. It leads you to more pain. But if you pay a little bit attention to see what life has to show you, maybe a little wonder and awe, having this state of being where, what are you going to show me next, world? What are you going to show me next, life? Who am I going to meet? What am I going to speak to them about? What are they going to share with me? What am I going to share with them? And just flow with it, having a certain trust, certain confidence in it. And you will come to understand that far more often than not, you're led into things that not only the other person learned from, and it was not really the intention either, it just happens. You learn too. Continuously grow, continuously taking in more and more life within your soul. And the more you meet individuals, from individual to individual, from personality to personality, you get to have these whole realities of beings within you at the same time. Instead of being, it's either me or you have to focus on this one or this one. Or you can do that, of course, if you zoom in on the specific individual or on the specific content of your inner being, obviously, from the whole. But it's important to hold both the whole and the details. So to not lose the individual and to not lose the whole. These are the two extremes, the two errors we can fall into in spiritual work, where balance always should be kept. So if you fall into the isolation, into losing the whole, you become isolated, you become bitter, you become angry at the world. This is the extreme. On the other hand, if you lose yourself, the individual, you will get crushed by the world. You will be overwhelmed by its demands and its pressures and pulls and so on, and you will not truly have your say in any of this. But in the balance, you truly are participating in both areas. And that is the threefold human being. The two sides of the pole and the fulcrum of the scale. And we are the fulcrum and trying to balance the two beams. And what's so cool about the fulcrum of the scale is You cannot change the beam's length or the balance of the beam, but you can change the fulcrum. You can change the scale to become gold, to become silver. You know what I mean? It can become diamonds for all you want, you know? But the balance always is there. But it's about the balancer. You, me. And that is where we come back to our own inner being again, centered. So we participate in what we're saying, doing, thinking, feeling, and willing. And that is what I will leave you with today. So, thank you so much for listening to me. My Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, ancient masters of old, ancestors from every incarnation, bless, protect, guide, and love you. And may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live, thrive, being creative, inspirational, and healing to the world, so others can choose to follow when the time is right, and courage is at most high. Thank you so much. Love you. See you. Goodbye.